Hello everyone, my name is Bray Scooter, and this is mostly a demo to see if I can actually do this.
This is mostly a demo to see if I can do this. This was a sentence I said approximately 15 years ago. A sentence I said purely as a shot in the dark, curious if I would even enjoy doing this content creation gig. So long ago that content creation wasn't even a way to quantify this video creation hobby. When videos could only be 10 minutes and 59 seconds at the absolute most, and live streaming any part of the process was a fairy tale and a myth. My time online has done irreparable damage to my brain, such as having the phrase "eating ass for Jesus" hard-baked into the back of my skull. It has also given me the feeling of being every content creator with a baritone vocal range until I start screeching like the nerd that knows how to bypass security on a voice-activated journal. There was a period in time when I was confused for two separate content creators at the same time. Funny, but ultimately demoralizing. But my time online has also done many wonders for me as a person. Well, at least following the time when I tried to stubbornly make content creation my full-time job. I went from a 440-pound plus ball of uselessness to now, if I don't work out at least 2 hours in a day, I feel like I have failed as a person. From a jobless slacker who thinks everything will just be handed to me if I fold my arms and don't change my stance, to someone who recognizes nothing happens unless you put in that effort. From a gaming standpoint, I have also grown and matured. From being someone who would say that only Mario, Sonic, and Zelda are good games to admitting every game, regardless of the developer's reputation or studio size, has merit and can be fun. Even coming to terms with and admitting that some games that I would have considered timeless classics can also be pretty bad. And in turn, I have seen many of you change for the better as well. Many of you, when you started watching me, were high school delinquents, junior high school teens without much direction in life, or young adults with not much aim in your life, becoming college graduates with full-scale careers and in some cases even having a family. And of those that reached that mark in the end, good job on you. You are doing better than me in the grand scheme of life. And even if you haven't reached that point, don't worry, life is not a race. You'll come into your own as time carries on. In the whole scheme of this content creation gig these last 15 years, what are a few things that I've learned, or I've struggled to do? Well, first off, that would probably be cooperative stuff. And that's not really due to others. Not in the slightest. It's mostly a me issue. Just due to a lot of things in my life that have led me to where I am, I have this mentality of to just handle a job myself, or everyone is out to see me fail. I'm well aware that that second point is false, but what my life has been like up to this point, it's very hard to break my brain away from this way of thinking. Sometimes our brains do betray us, even when we tell them countless times that is not the case. Some things I have learned is mostly social things, and a few words of wisdom I wish to impart onto you. The biggest thing is to just be you. Being a social recluse as I am, and I believe a lot of you are, it's hard to know what your real voice is. And honestly, I still struggle to confirm what my real voice is to this day. So I understand what I say probably makes no sense. You will have to trust me on this though. You have a personality outside of what you're expected to be. Just remember, there are some things you'll want to avoid like the plague. I mean, unless you want to be removed from the internet by force. Another thing, which focuses more on what you do with your time making content, is just do what you want. Yes, there are popular trends that will help you get your name out there, or the newest game that everyone is playing. But remember that you can't really sell yourself as entertaining if you're forcing it. I know I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite here with my current upload schedule currently and coming up, but I have illustrated this off and on in the past with some of my weekend uploads or some of my lesser known games I cover. But about that thing I mentioned a little bit ago, the grand scheme, namely what is the grand scheme I aim for with this channel? Well, I didn't really have an aim for the longest time. At one point, it was to make this content creation thing my job. And admittedly, it still is to an extent, just not as predominantly. But I then had a bit of a wake-up call that made me change the scope more to sharing my love for games with the world. And a little later on beyond that, to invite folks to appreciate independently developed titles, to follow in my footsteps, to expand your boundaries and try new things. I mean, to lay it out flat, when I started this channel, I had zero interest in the Metroid franchise. Granted, this isn't independent, but follow me on this. I had zero interest in the Metroid franchise. And now, I get pretty excited when a new Metroid game is on the horizon. And this whole trying new things, expanding your scope and your boundaries, that's been what this channel has been about for at least the last couple of years. But now, I think I've come to a realization of what this channel is more than likely to be. And it's not a total offshoot from what I currently do. I'm still going to just enjoy playing video games and share my love of those games, both large titles and smaller titles. But I think what I want to be more of now is to be the person that I needed when I was growing up. Though this may be something kind of hard to do because do have to keep in mind the whole parasocial mindset. I want to be more of someone you can come to at the end of your bad day to have a laugh with, blow off some steam, or possibly even learn something interesting. And what of the future for me? I honestly don't know. I plan to keep doing this thing I'm currently doing because it almost feels like an extension of myself as a person at this point. Almost as if I stop, I'll lose most of the drive in my life or become directionless once again. And I've said this before, but I will repeat it again. I don't plan to stop doing this content creation gig with video games until this somehow becomes illegal in some instance. Now, there are some other events that could change this overall course, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to that point. But I have made a few other attempts, or are planning some other attempts going forward to expand what I am capable of bringing to the table or bringing to the creation space. Some I have been pursuing more vigorously than others. Over the last 3 years, I have been very slowly learning Japanese. I am very much still speaking like a toddler or first grader would, but I'm not stopping in my pursuit of this goal. And later on, once I feel like I'm partially conversational in Japanese or can at least communicate in that language, I do wish to brush back up on my Spanish a bit. Maybe get that to roughly the same level. After that, I may decide to pursue other languages, but that is far enough in the future that I can't even begin to entertain this thought any further. For the last few years, though not with much success, I have been trying to get my foot in the door doing voice acting work. And thanks to a couple friends, I have had this opportunity. Granted, my skill as a voice actor is shoddy at best, but I will still keep up this pursuit occasionally as I go forward. I do also want to try my hand at animation, mainly 3D animation, with currently attempting to try out Blender for this. There may be a better program, or I may decide to ditch Blender for one of those other programs, but I haven't even started this yet. But when I do, I might start incorporating some of those things into some of my normal content creation. With that all done, I wanted to address a handful of questions that you people have asked me lately, and in an admittedly selfish call out on social media for some of these questions. So this question, actually, well, I'm not going to put usernames on these, but if you know it's you, you can sound off in the comments. But first question actually comes from a longtime friend of mine. How do you keep your content fresh so that you don't get bored and burned out? In more recent years, this has admittedly been a little harder to achieve. It is the possibility that I may be approaching some form of midlife crisis with content creation, as I have been at this for 15 years as of posting this video. But to not make this response all negative, I think what helps keep me from being burnt out or lose my way is that gaming content is just so vast and amazing. There's so many outlets you can tap into with it. That, and for the most part, I also do not try to rush to pursue that new thing and just play whatever I wish to play. With my current uploads and what's set to come after Tears of the Kingdom is over, at least as of the time of this video going live, I am a bit of a hypocrite, I admit, because I do have 3 playthroughs sitting in my hard drives just ready to go for whenever Tears of the Kingdom's finish. That is the new hotness. I saved them back there so everybody has a chance to enjoy the game before I come along and play it and ruin anything for them. But back on track. It would be boring if I just played every single Mario the day it came out, and otherwise focused on Mario ROM hacks to keep me afloat in the interim. Or hell, even if I focused on just one platform for video games. For example, the fact that in a lot of situations I can at the drop of a hat go, well, I'm bored with Zelda. Let me go ahead and jump over to Gravity Rush for a bit and break up the flow or make other parts of my brain operate. Another question, even though I look at this and this isn't really a question but more a statement, but hey, I asked for stuff like this, is looking at your old videos, aka your old Let's Plays, however you wish to call them, doesn't matter. It's incredible how much the channel has changed quality-wise as the years have gone on. Now, I do thank you for noticing this. I have been doing, well, not incessantly, but I have been doing all I can to make sure my videos appear crisp first and foremost. The commentary, that's just me learning how to be a social person instead of simple yes or no answers. I have invested in a lot of upscalers to make all my games look that much better. Like, I can't detach it because it's caught in a web of cables, but like, I have an upscaler for my HDMI games, which I've been using. I have upscalers for 360p games, the NES, Super Nintendo, whatever you want to call it, just to make those appear even crisper as well. Even though all this really does in the end, for me, is make my computer spend more time rendering out a video once it's all edited. I've also, even though it's going to mess up the quality of the video, I've also invested in better technology to capture my voice better. I understand I have the dulcet tones of a concrete machine, but even capturing what is your true voice is very much a necessity. Considering I have been at this content creation gig for 15 years, and I'm trying my best to get to know you people, though parasocially, on a better level, let me do something that I've been meaning to do again for a while. Hello folks, my name is Praise Scooter. I go by Scooter. You can call me Tyler. I won't give you my last name. As I sit here before you, I'm a content creator here on YouTube, focusing mainly on video game centric content. Though this face doesn't appear a lot in my videos, my voice does at least. I myself as a content creator focus on all kinds of games. It could be something on PC that released last week. It could be something on the NES that released back when I was brand new. I do what I can to share my love of video games with you, and to hopefully make you laugh or make you think about things a little bit deeper at times. Regardless of the content I bring to the table, I try my best to make it something entertaining for you in one way or another. Whether it's putting me on in the background to just have somebody to yap over your day while you're focusing on another task, or if you're actively watching what's happening on the screen. Either way, it does not matter to me. I'm just glad that you stopped by to pay attention to what I have to say. Now, I admittedly make a lot of my content pretty far in advance. In some cases, years in advance. That shouldn't deter you from making comments on my videos. I will read what you have to say, and if it's something that you have a problem with me doing, or if it's something you want to correct me on in the game or what I'm saying, regardless, I will address you and have a conversation with you in the comments if it needs to be something as such. I am by no means a perfect person. I was basically socially inept until about 7 years ago. So I will mess things up. I will say things wrong. I will get terms wrong. I will get pronouns, affiliations, many things wrong. I admit that to you first and foremost because I expect you to correct me on this so I can be better as a person. Outside of my content, I have asthma. I've had terrible asthma most of my life, and as such, I take very deep and very hollow sounding breaths that are very hard to edit out of an audio track. It is very difficult for me to control my breathing, so you will probably hear me take deep breaths in a lot. I am also, well, we'll say recovering. I'm also a recovering overweight man who was diagnosed with sleep apnea, adding to the whole heavy breathing thing. Though it's not as much of a problem as it would have been 7-8 years ago, I admit this may provide problems when it comes to me breathing properly. But if you can put up with my imperfections, my inability to communicate it sometimes, or even my short-term memory that causes me to lose process on what I'm even talking about, I thank you for sticking around. Now at the very end here of the video, now that I'm done reintroducing myself to folks who haven't been here for a while, first time here, anything like that, this is the shilling part of the video. I'm going to shill things. You don't have to stick around, that's fine. I do stream. I do have streaming capabilities, though I don't stream much anymore. But if I do ever stream, it'll be a toss-up if it'll either just be right here on this channel, or if I'll take it over to Twitch. But regardless of that, I'm still figuring out what I'll do with if I stream on this channel, but I also do have a stream archives channel where anytime I've streamed or any stream I've done, as long as the people involved are okay with me putting up the content if I do something multiplayer, that will appear over on my stream archive channel, unedited, untouched, just literally a VOD that you can watch and has a more concrete place to stay. This next point, this is money related. Again, don't stick around for this. I have set up Patreon. I have a Patreon. There is nothing on that Patreon. Nothing at all. I also have, just below the video here, I have channel subscriptions or channel membership, whatever the heck it's called, turned on for the channel. I do not expect a single dime out of you folks. I expect negative money in a lot of instances. I'm invading your day-to-day life, and I should be saying thank you at the end of every single video to emphasize the point that you are allowing me into your day. The Patreon, the channel memberships, they have nothing on there. They are tip jar mentality. They're literally, I like your content enough, let me put this much money into your wallet every month. That's literally all it is. There's nothing else to it. If you sign up for that stuff, cool, thank you, I appreciate it. It's literally just going to go to making me live life better. If you pledge something like that and you at a later date decide you can't afford anything like that, please pull back on that. Rescind your membership or Patreon, whatever the heck that's called. You being financially stable is worth way more to me than any amount of money you can give me. I'm just here to be a funny guy in the internet, air quotes on that. I'm here to be a funny guy in the internet and talk to you through, well, not necessarily a webcam, but talk to you through your speakers and hopefully make your day a little bit better. I do want to thank you all so much for your time today. Sitting down for however long this video ends up being, because I know I'm going to trim out some stuff because I can never keep my thoughts straight and I stumble over my tongue. But I thank you for your time today. I thank you if you've been watching for any longer than today. If you've been here since the start, I thank you equally as much. Holy cow, I've been doing this thing for 15 years. If this YouTube channel was a child, I would be prepping it to learn how to drive a vehicle. That is scary to think about. But once again, thank you for watching. No matter how long it's been or how little it's been, doesn't matter. I thank you for your time. I thank you for watching. And, as always, I'll see you in the next video. Whatever that one's going to be. You folks have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, And if I never see you again, a great rest of your life. Take care, everybody.